Beautiful. Pretty. Marmewa art. A for Akane.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm starting a new series called the A through Z series where we draw a lovely lady whose name goes with the letter of the alphabet for that month. So, A is first, and patrons voted on Akane from Danganronpa. I don't know how to say it. Danganronpa. Yeah. That game. I don't know much about it, to be honest. All I know is that there's an evil bear and lots of murder and detectiving. So, but it has been all the rage lately. Everyone keeps talking about it. And, yeah, like I said, my patrons voted on our first lady, so here she is, Akane. So, yeah, I decided to do this because it's been something I've wanted to try for a while. I think it's just a cute, fun idea. I saw this idea from DrawingWiffWaffles. She is another YouTube artist. It's a little different though. She draws her favorite character with that letter of the alphabet, but I also wanted to interact a little more with my patrons, so I figured I would let them vote on what sexy lady they want to see. So it's just gonna be a whole bunch of sexy ladies, 26 of them anyways. So yeah, and then I wanted to have more content for the YouTube channel. I figured it would just be fun, and I've really been wanting to do more with the YouTube channel, so here we are. But I also decided I would pick some topics to discuss while I did my A through Z series, because I would like to also talk over them and not just have it be music and the video, because I enjoy the videos where people talk, and I want to be more interactive, and yeah, I just want to do it. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna be picking topics, and of course if you want to hear any certain topics, I'm trying to make them relevant to art and artists and arting, but if there are topics you would like to discuss, I'd love to hear them. But for this video I decided to talk about staying motivated, getting motivated, and just motivation in general for creators and artists such as myself, because that can be pretty hard sometimes, because art is no joke. It is really time consuming, and I don't know if people realize sometimes how much work goes into it, and just to be relevant and stay on top of it, you have to be constantly on your game and constantly be doing something. So it can be a little easy to feel overwhelmed or feel a little unmotivated. So I wanted to just talk about ways, one, because I could, do a little research myself on ways to stay motivated, but to also, maybe offer something for someone else out there who needs a little help staying on that high. And that is to say, this is for those artists that want to do it more professionally and want to, make it their main source of income. If you're just doing it as a hobby and just on the side and it's just pure enjoyment, then you probably don't need to worry about it as much, because, you're just doing it for yourself. But if you're trying to get out there and get seen, it is a whole nother ball game. And of course, you should always just draw what you like. It'll show through your art more as well. Like, if you are enjoying it, then I think that people can tell when you put more into those pictures. I definitely have certain pictures that I'm guilty of where I'm like, oh man, and I can't stop. It was like, oh, this is going to be really quick and easy, and then I'm like, oh no, and then I just start going into it because I just end up really liking how something's coming out with it. And then there's other ones where you're like, I just gotta get this done, and you don't want it to look bad, obviously, but you could just tell there's a different type of work that you put into it. But let's go ahead and get started on some of the ways I think will help motivate us as artists and creatives. And I think the first one is obviously finding that purpose, why you are doing it. It can be kind of hard to remember sometimes, and yeah, you can do it because you are enjoying it, but again, when you start to do it for work and you need money from it, it can be hard to stay motivated. So I think the first one is just to remember that purpose and why you are doing what you're doing. And it can be because, you know, this is your money maker and that's why you need to keep pushing through. And that's not always the best for everyone. Sometimes people are like, well, I can make money an easier way, so that doesn't really help. But for some people it really is. They're like, oh wow, I'm making money off of something so cool and I get to be creative instead of, you know, another job that you might not find as enjoyable. And maybe it is simply enough for you that you just enjoy it, but you know, you can think of other ways that it motivates you. Like whatever you're drawing, you will still improve. As long as you're working on your craft, you can't not improve and get better at your work. Which is another motivator in and of itself. Sometimes people just, you know, they're like, hey, I'm gonna improve and I just want to be the best artist I can be. And therefore, you know, they've got motivation to become better by drawing. So if they're doing a picture for a client that they aren't really interested in, they can still tell themselves like, hey, it doesn't matter, like I'm still improving as an artist, I'm learning a new pose, I'm researching how to draw, I don't know, a leggings on a person, anything like that. It can really also motivate and help you. So I think just taking a step back and thinking about why you're really doing it. Is it really worth it? Do you really like putting all this time and effort into this craft? Even if you can't think of that purpose immediately, just push through it, and you never know, maybe you will find something eventually. You know, don't give up immediately, don't throw away your interest because you're unmotivated at that moment. You never know. Sometimes, you know, life is life and it gets to you sometimes, and don't give up immediately and just push through, and just sometimes you just gotta do it. Just do your art, and then, you know, maybe you'll find a new appreciation or a new purpose. And if you really can't find anything, and most of the time you'll be able to find something. If not, then maybe you want to think about doing something else or trying to find a new approach to get the job done. Another way to approach having those motivational blocks is to just make it easier on yourself. Set some realistic goals, maybe. If you think that you're doing an overwhelming piece, just say, maybe I'll try to finish all of these today. I'm going to get my line work done today, and then tomorrow I can work on the colors. Just things like that. Or if you want to think a little more long term, be like, oh, I'm going to get 3 pictures done this week. Just think of little goals that might be more accessible to you, but really help you set up a schedule, and just give yourself something else to work with, so you're not just going and doing the picture, hoping you finish it maybe. Give yourself little goals that will give you something more obtainable to reach for, and then once you do reach those, it is rewarding, and then you want to do more, and then you'll get another goal done. And that's a great way to keep yourself motivated and taking it little steps at a time, as opposed to just saying, I've got a picture to get done. The end. Another thing that helps me stay motivated is really utilizing those like fire times. And I'm going to try to explain that. It's just when you're really motivated and really in the zone. You'll probably know what I'm talking about, but there are so many distractions, right? It's so easy to get distracted, and you know when you're in those funks and you're like hardly getting work done. And then there's those times where you're just like busting through and you're like really into it, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna get this done, I'm gonna get that done, I'm working on this thing and that thing. And then someone's like, hey, you wanna come hang out? Hey, you wanna do this? Hey, let's watch this show or something. Those times I would really recommend just saying no. It's so hard for me to say no to wanting to hang out with people, or just to do something fun. But those times are so important because you get so much work done, and if you can really use it and make the most of it and like drag it out for as long as possible without any distractions, do it if you can. Just really try to do it and use it to your advantage. And another great way to stay motivated, for me anyways, is to just surround yourself with relevant content, like other artists that you really enjoy. Look at their art all the time. Look at art pieces that you really like. Find new artists. Listen to art YouTubers talk about their art experiences, because you are, not the only one doing all of these things, and there are others that are in the same boat as you or can really offer guidance, and it just makes you feel like you're part of a community. I love watching YouTube videos. I love watching YouTubers talk about art. Sometimes I listen to other things in the background while I draw, but it helps if you listen to some other artists talk about their struggles, or listening to their tutorials where you just learn about, how to draw a hair or something that you want to improve on. Just keeping yourself in this circle in this circle of other creatives and artists, and it just kind of comes all back around, and it will keep you thinking about your art. If you see some other artist use some kind of technique and you're like, ooh, I really want to try that next time in my picture, or there's a character that someone created that you really like and you're just like, ooh, I want to draw that next time. Things like that will just keep you thinking about your art and finding new, fresh ways to deal with your art and your execution, making it more fun and interesting in the long run. Two artists that I really enjoy listening to / watching are MikeyMegaMega and Anthony Jones. MikeyMegaMega is a YouTuber mostly, and he does all kinds of series on YouTube. He has tons of tutorials on how to draw this or that, and but my favorite is his Draw With Me or Draw With Mikey segment that he does, where he just draws in the background and talks to people in the comments. He responds to people's comments, and I just think it's such a fun way to get involved with other people in the community that enjoy your art, are also artists, and it's not even hardly art topics in that segment, but I just really enjoy listening to him. He's really down to earth, and he's a great artist, and if you are looking for some new artists, I would recommend his channel. I'll put a link in the description, but his stuff is great, and you should go check him out if you want something to listen to in the background while you do your own art, or if you want to check out any of his art tutorials. And then there is Anthony Jones, who is not really a YouTuber. He's not a YouTuber at all, I don't think, but he is in a ton of talks and interviews on YouTube that you can find and listen to, and he is a great artist. He's a concept artist, but he is a great motivational speaker. So I would recommend listening to him as well for, any motivation that you might need. There are a ton of talks. I'll put a couple links in the description as well for those couple videos that I watched, that I saw, that I seen, and you can check those out too. He is a great motivational speaker, I think, and has helped me a couple times with my little ruts of doubt. So yeah, Anthony Jones and MikeyMegaMega, those are two that I really enjoy and would recommend. And of course there are tons of artists. I would love to hear your recommendations if you have any others that you would like to share with me, especially for motivation and art technique. Sorry, I'm watching the video as I record this, and it was just, I constantly flip back and forth to check my work, and it just looks like she was dancing, because this time it was excessive. It was ha 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 ha. I guess you just saw it too. I forgot you were watching the video. Anyways, so yeah, what else for motivation? I think another way to stay motivated is to actually just give yourself breaks. I know that art can be really time consuming, and you can literally spend all day, every day, and just never be done with all of your work. But in order to retain your sanity, it is in your best interest to take breaks every now and then and really just check in with yourself and, do other things. Art for most of us started as a hobby, became work, so it's hobby and work all the time. But I'm sure you have other interests. I would recommend just, getting into those every now and then and just taking a step back. Maybe go for a hike, get some sun. I know I hate sitting at a chair all day, But unfortunately, I have to do it for my work, and I'm gonna do it. But, you know, get up and stretch, move around a little bit, get some blood flowing, and, you know, exercise whenever you get a chance, because honestly, that's like the best brain health, and overall will improve your mood and creativity boosts. But yeah, it's so important for you to take those breaks, especially to prevent you from getting burnt out and, again, losing all your motivation. So that's probably the most important, is to just take care of yourself. I know I'm guilty of not doing that sometimes when I'm like really busy. I'll forget to eat. I don't forget to eat, but I'm just like, I'll just eat later. I just want to finish these things, and that's just not good. We just need to take care of ourselves, and getting those moments of mental and physical breaks in whenever we can. Your health should always come first. So those are just a few ways that I like to stay motivated, and I would love to hear how you guys find motivation. Let me know in the comments what you guys do. And thanks again for watching my video. I hope you had fun and liked my commentary, and we can all look forward to our B part for the A through Z series, which will be coming out next month, because patrons will have to vote on our B girl, making it a monthly series. And if you want to get in on that poll, hop on over to Patreon. And speaking of Patreon, special shout out to Tank238 and Metavrug, my $20 crew, and to all the patrons over on Patreon. You guys are awesome, and thank you all for watching and hanging out, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!